What up? 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 What's good, people? What is up? What is up? Hello, sir.
Greetings and salutations.
Greetings and freaking salutations. How are you?
I am surviving, and yourself.
We're just trying to get through it. That's all. That is it. That's all.
I know that's real.
That's it. That's all.
That's
We
all.
just trying to make it day by day, day by day. We're gonna have another epic show today.
Perhaps, perhaps.
Hey, Harold.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey, hey.
hey, crazy homebody girl. Listen. On today's welcome to Red, Blue, and Black with L Teddy 27 and Kamz, the man. We have a lot of things to talk about today. Certainly, we'll talk about uh, RFK being thrust forward to nomination. We'll talk about what are the Dems doing. We'll talk about Doge and what it's doing to us. What else are we talking about, Cams? I know I'm leaving something out.
Um, the Impoundment Act
Oh yeah, we
with
do have to talk
aid,
about.
as
Uh
well
huh.
as the breaking news in Gaza.
Yes, we do. Shall we start there?
Yes.
We'll cover the Department of Education tomorrow on Teacher Project 2.0. Lay around for that tomorrow with me and Really Being. But so while I, hey Shay W, while I was, I think this happened while we were on Run Your Mouth. And so I didn't get a chance to really cover it while we were on Run Your Mouth. Um, Benjamin Netanyahu came and met with y'all's president, and while they were having a joint press conference with the White House press corps and reporters that were there, Donald Trump made some comments that may give some people in the uncommitted movement pause. Here are his comments.
The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't.
Well,
Yeah, thank you for cutting the audio short. I don't need to listen to
um, comments.
that. Isn't this what we said was going to happen months ago?
It is.
Oh, okay. I will say
Absolutely.
this. There is unease in the Middle East. I know Egypt and Jordan have explicitly expressed resistance to resettling Palestinians within their territory. Um, the Arab League has also expressed their objections over this, as well as human rights and sort of legal experts have condemned the plan, going as far as to labeling it as ethnic cleansing. But this is something that I talked about in the lead up to the DNC, so I told you so. And that's specifically to the uncommitted movement and those voters in Dearborn, Michigan. I told you so.
Let's be clear. Since this started, I have stated that this was complete occupation. That's it. That's all. I have stated from the very beginning that this was about occupation. This ain't, Hamas was just a red herring. And if we're really being honest, the Gaza Strip is the real red herring. What they really want is the West Bank. That's ultimately what they want. They want the West Bank.
Now, sweet potato Hitler. That's hilarious.
I did see that this evening. I did see that he removed himself from the Human Rights Council. He also says that we will not be helping to fund UNRWA anymore. So
So, Mary,
here we are.
what I want to know is what would the ideal outcome have been for the uncommitted movement because they weren't going to get what they wanted. There's a difference between advocacy and extortion, and they attempted to extort for
I,
votes.
I, I don't see it that way.
I do.
What I think what pushed the uncommitted movement or a good majority of them, because there were some parts of the uncommitted movement that was going to be do what they was going to do regardless. But there were a good portion of them that were willing to have good faith conversation. When the uncommitted movement was told, take y'all asses away from our DNC, when they said, all we ask is that you give us an equal share and have us at least be able to speak at the DNC, and then they ceremoniously gave that lady, she went up there crying. Remember the Jewish lady went up there crying about her son. Her and her husband were up there and they were crying. And the uncommitted movement said, well, can you at least give us one person to at least let us give our side or speak to what's happening with the genocide? And the Democratic Party basically told them, we have nothing for you, get the hell away, or we'll put you up in Chanel bangles. That is where I feel like the Dems went wrong. I feel like had they at least engaged them, even if they said, listen, we can't do a whole lot until after November, beautiful. But you ceremoniously said, we don't care. Go away from us. We have momentum. We're going to, the numbers are in our favor, because at that time of the DNC, it literally was. So they could, I feel like they felt like they could flex and say, hey, uncommitted movement, you're not, it looks like we won't even need your vote. So we'll move on.
I
That's where
believe
I
I
think the
see it
fatal flaw
differently
was.
just due to the nature of U.S. politics. It is first past the post. You have two options. That's it. That's all. You have two options.
But at
And
least no, if
let,
you're
let,
gonna
let, let,
if
let
you're
me
gonna
let me
dry
finish.
hump me,
Let me finish. Because you had a ton of these people in the uncommitted movement, El Teddy, that I have not heard or seen from. They got their checks because let's be clear what most of that uncommitted movement was. It was psyops. And if you don't see it for what it was, I don't know what else to tell you. There was a vested interest from several of our adversaries that wanted Trump to win, and they got what they wanted. And they used this passion that the youth have, thinking that they can change the world, not realizing that we've been in an oligarchy for at least 5 decades.
my concern is this. I don't want to make the uncommitted movement like they're an anomaly, because there were several segments
Well, there
of the
was an uncommitted
Democratic
movement, and there
base.
was also the
There,
abandoned Biden
there were
movement.
there were
There was the
several
abandoned Harris movement.
several segments of the Democratic base that did the same thing, sat their ass down, decided not to vote, and now we're democracy is burning
Were
to
they
the ground.
registered Dems?
Hmm?
Because I know that there were a lot of independents that did not show up that voted for Biden prior, that didn't show up in this most recent
Hold
election.
on, take over. I got to take this call. Hold on 1 second.
I don't want to take over. This ain't even my damn channel. How the fuck you? Okay. Anyway, back to the Gaza situation. Even within Israel, there is a mixed reaction. People on the far right support it. They view it as an opportunity to establish new settlements in Gaza. However, there's concern that a move could lead to renewed military action and further destabilize the region. And the proposal that Trump has announced, I think it is going to derail the very fragile ceasefire that we have right now between Israel and Hamas. And I think that that has broader implications for regional stability. And to your point, Xavier, yes, it is trade. We know who on the phone. He trying to get his back blown out later tonight and got me up
I'm
here.
not trying to get my back blown out. That was mama, and that's my mama again. What, lady? Hold on. This better be important.
That's your mama calling you at 9:22 p.m. I could see you arguing that, little baby. I think that the Dems have always had an issue with messaging, um, letting the Republican Party take credit for having good economies over and over and over again. When we realize that the Republicans crash the economy and then the Democrats come in and fix it. That's been cyclical in politics, but Dems are terrible at messaging. The only Dems that are good at messaging are the Jasmine Crockett's, the AOCs, the Squad, the Progressives, and the party they continually ostracize and silence. So until we change from the establishment Dem leadership, I think we're going to continue to have messaging problems.
Every time I have something to do, the house is burning down.
That's what it means to be a landlord.
Anyway, God, as soon as I start talking, hold on.
I think that Diamond Jim Pearl, the Dems are under the illusion that we're still um, two rational parties, whereas the Republican Party has been co-opted. They're trying to play too nice, and you can't negotiate with people that want to govern in bad faith. It's just it's not smart. It's like uh, Charlie Brown and Lucy with that football. They're gonna pull that football every time, and the Dems keep getting up trying to kick it. It's stupid.
I'm sorry. Anyway, what was you saying?
Oh, how the Dems are operating like the Republicans are trying to negotiate and govern in good faith, and it's like Charlie Brown and Lucy when she just pulls the football, and the Dems keep getting up trying to kick the football every single time.
I mean, I keep screaming this. I keep screaming this. I keep screaming this. Oh, kiss my. I hate it here.
Xavier, I'm in total agreement with that comment. A bunch of damn geriatrics that need to step out of the way. Um, I think that two recent things come to mind. AOC not winning the party's support for the oversight panel and giving it to a 70 something year old with esophagus cancer because it was his turn. And that sort of language harkens me back to how Hillary was forced down our throats and we ended up losing that election because it was her turn versus the party looking at what's in the best interest of its future and electoral victories. AOC is deeply popular, deeply popular. And then the new head of the DFL is a straight up establishment pick. So it's more of the same. We're not learning. And below, I have no issue with decorum, but it needs to be divorce decorum. And we're fighting over everything to include the kids. I need divorce decorum. I need them to go into the chambers and I need them to see the opposition as the enemy, not people that we philosophically disagree with and we can go get drinks at 501. That's not what this is anymore with the agenda that they're trying to push. Hell, Teddy he's just trying to abdicate his channel tonight, and but we did not sign up for this. Does anyone have any other thoughts or comments on Gaza? Because I don't know if El Teddy gonna come back. I want to make sure that I'm responding to your opinion so we can have a decent discussion before we move on to the next topic. Because this is still sort of developing. What's everyone's initial thoughts about this? Not Greymont Avenue, Lord. I agree, Ronald. The tactic that they're going to use is they're going to continually push all of these things in the media to distract us from what's really going on behind the scenes. Well, Xavier, you could argue that decorum is nothing but respectability politics. And where has respectability politics gotten us in the last 20 years? That would be my question. They don't have anywhere to go. Essentially, they're a stateless people. And none of the surrounding countries want to deal with. I mean, it's at least 1.8 million Palestinians right now. I mean, and to be quite frank, we did steal their land when well, not we, when they created Israel. I think the most dangerous thing going on right now is Doge. That is the most dangerous thing going on right now. And we are going to cover that, but, you know, seeing as we have some members that are current federal employees, it is a little bit concerning when you have these unelected, unaccountable people with no sort of government experience going around grilling people on who do they think should be fired. The point is to entirely gut the civil federal service, not save money, but to then give out contracts to loyalists to then do the same work that civil servants were doing. That's the entire point. Government is the problem, but not private enterprise. When private enterprise has gotten us into several economic conditions where we had to bail them out. Great question, Tracy. So the El Salvador deal is including undocumented persons as well as Americans. And to me, this sounds like a major human trafficking operation. And if you know anything about El Salvador and their prisons, they've been described as inhumane by plenty of different independent organizations. Oh, it is definitely human trafficking, Xavier, but like, what is cruel and unusual punishment? Do we think that this current Supreme Court is going to rule that way? I don't think precedent matters anymore. What I want to know is what does El Salvador get out of the deal? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is the economic benefit? Because it's violent U.S. criminals and deportees of any nationality. They said that they would take all of them. And Trump has already said that he would house Americans in jails in El Salvador in a heartbeat. Well, we know that the 13th Amendment authorizes slave labor. So Elon Musk has been retweeting some things on X about how these people can pay their debt back to society through work.
I'm coming, y'all. Give me a second. I'm coming. Give me just a second. I'll be there in just a second.
So the dangerous thing about the El Salvador deal is it explicitly carves out that yes, they will accept U.S. citizens and legal residents. I don't know where to start on Trump's commentary on South Africa, but I think we clearly know who is really calling the shots in this current administration, and it is a South African. And I think another lens to look this through, Tracy, is right now the president has essentially backing from the Supreme Court that everything he does that is an official act, he receives immunity from. So we've already seen the FBI right now, everyone that would investigated January the 6th, they're suing in court so that their names won't be released as part of that. I think that the opposition is going to find themselves with trumped up charges and they're going to find themselves in El Salvador. If the checks and balances go just completely away, which it feels like it is, but I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty until these cases run through the court system, but it definitely seems that um, really to cement your power, you have to create an external and an internal enemy, and we already know who the internal enemies are. Right now, it's DEI, it's the undocumented immigrants. That's how people stay in power. You have to create an internal and an external enemy. But Demetri, I would ask, who defines what's dangerous? Who defines what's violent? I don't think it's an independent judiciary that's making these determinations. I think it's going to be a highly politicized DOJ. That's why I'm also a little bit disappointed with how we've been essentially just bipartisan support on some of these terrible cabinet picks. Some of these people have no experience, have no business running any of these agencies. Yeah, military aircraft is going to be the cheapest way for them to do it. I don't know if I agree with that, Xavier. Like, what is the point of? Is it a justice system or is it a revenge system? Because I believe the reason why we have so many repeat offenders is that we don't have any sort of rehabilitation and we don't fix systemic issues that lead to crime in the first place. Welcome back.
You know, I hate that I have to be parent to my parents and my siblings, but here we are. Anyway, where are we at, sir? And I thank you for doing such a wonderful job keeping it together.
Go to hell.
Wh-
Take my channel.
Oh,
I'm a guest.
you
It's like I walk,
come
I,
back
I
to
walk up in your house. You got me cooking and cleaning. I'm making my
right.
own plate.
Uh-huh. What were we discussing?
We were talking about Gaza, and then we segued into the deal with El Salvador housing undocumented persons as well as American citizens.
Let's be clear. El Salvador's president, what is his name? Bukele, something like that. Bukele, something like that. Um, he Trump wants to emulate that. The man was was supposed to be out of office and out of power, and refuses to relinquish power. And and what he does in those prisons is inhumane. It's very well known. And now you want to send American citizens to another country to their prisons, which I would have to check. But last time I think I know from my seventh grade civics class, that would be illegal.
Who determines that it's illegal?
Well, then there's that.
The compromised ass Supreme Court.
Well, then there's that.
And mind you, this prison, the terrorism confinement center, the capacity is 40,000 prisoners. Right now they have a little bit above 14,000. And let's be clear, they said they don't mind housing anybody for a fee. How the hell is this not human trafficking?
Oh, it's definitely human trafficking. And let's be clear, they they will use all government resources that they need to. That's why I said earlier on my live, you over here screaming from the rooftops that these countries from South America and Central America are unloading their prisoners out of prisons and sending them to America, to the southern border, and now you're doing that.
Aren't these the same countries that he calls shithole countries?
When we're the real shithole country. We are the true shithole country. Let's be clear. That'd be us
That'd be us.
if you should need us.
We're here.
Did we get to RFK yet? Since we're talking about shitholes.
We've not gotten him.
So apparently, he is going to be your next HHS secretary. And we have what's his name? Senator Cassidy, who's has a medical degree, is a licensed physician, took the Hippocratic oath, and yet you are voting to confirm and have voted to push forward the nomination and said that you would vote yes to confirm this man to be the head of health and
He's like
human
a
services.
gastroenterologist. Like he has a specialized medical knowledge. And it got out of committee on a party vote. It was 14-13 because Senator Cassidy received some assurances from RFK.
He
That,
hasn't received anything. Let's be clear. His assurance was that he'll be primaried. That's the assurance that he received.
well, it just said like, oh, we're going to keep the existing vaccine safety systems and public health guidance, but then
They'll
they go
tell
on.
you anything
Then
to
they go
get
on to
confirmed.
say, but if there are any changes, we'll alert you with 30 days. Now, this is the same 30 days that inspectors generals are supposed to get before they're removed, but we clearly see that the administration has already fired, dozens of them, and nothing's happened. So the assurances aren't worth anything, to be quite. Right, right.
The only assurance that they made was that they assured Senator Cassidy that you'll be primaried if you fuck around. That was the assurance that they made. Let's be clear.
And I think that the market is the most rational thing in response to this administration, because the moment that this news passed that he got out of committee to go before the full Senate for the confirmation vote, drug stocks tumbled. This is the man that has said that he would take patents away from companies, not like make them universal. He would just take the patent so that the drug would just not be on the market. And some of these are life-saving drugs. And this is also, a man that said that, black people need, you know,
Different
we need a
HIV
different
drug.
vaccine schedule because of the antibody response,
Right.
which sounds suspiciously like eugenics, but
Well, I'm sorry. He said black people needed different vaccines for across the board than whites because they had better immune systems. But then he said that black people and Latino people, I think it was, had a different type of HIV than no, I think it was black and was it black and Jewish? It was black people and somebody has a different form of HIV, or it was the Africans. It was some type of black people. He said they had a different form of HIV, and so they should be under different. It, and now and he's been denying what he did over there, in Samoa. He's in complete denial of that.
and one, he's a geriatric. He's 71. He's clearly a cokehead. Um, but I think that this administration is attracted to people that abuse drugs. I mean, look at the ketamine addicted, you know, billionaire that we have running this fake ass government agency.
Mm.
Absolutely, Ronald. Their word is not worth a damn thing. Like
That's why I'm saying they could tell
the
you
last
anything.
50 years, we've literally been operating off of gentlemen's deals. And it's just like, well, what's the recourse if you don't? Now we're in the find out phase of that, because the gentlemen's agreements have fallen apart, but you still have people operating as if this is business as usual, which I think is dangerous.
Which is why I have been screaming, you can't play nice with people who don't play nicely, who are never coming to the table in good faith, and who would not give you those same graces if the shoe were on the other foot.
And another thing about RFK, before we move on, this line that he uses about, black people, I want to be very clear that the medical racism that we've had in this country, thinking that black people feel less pain, which is still something that is taught in medical schools today,
Yep.
um, because the prevailing belief was that black people felt less pain, they frequently did C-sections on black women without anesthesia. They just wanted to see what syphilis was going to do, even though we know penicillin would cure it. So we just let black people get late stage syphilis for science. Damn the ethical concerns. I
We're
think
not going to even we're
I
not
think
going to
he's
even go
dangerous.
to the whole field of obstetrics and gynecology. We're not going to even go down that road. I mean, here we are. Here the fuck we are.
And whenever we do, they getting rid of DEI. They don't want to see us any damn where. They also don't want to fund HBCUs.
I think another part of this that, especially the DEI component, one of the things that you don't hear a lot about, but is important when people were pushing DEI, especially in the sciences, is things like clinical trials for these drugs. When drugs have clinical trials, it is it's important to the efficacy of that drug if they do have diversity within the subjects that are, going through these clinical trials. If the basis of your clinical trials is based off of the pharmacovigilance, I believe that's what it's called, the pharmacovigilance of those specific drugs does not have a diverse pool of individuals that they have going through those clinical trials, we don't have a true sound understanding of the adverse effects, the side effects, and all of that, how it could adversely affect different groups of the population.
And to the point that you're making, it's also true of several different, in the science field, right? When we're coming out with technology products, oxygen sensors don't work as well on people that have melanin. It's something that we know, but because the tests and the control groups that you use were predominantly white people, of course you didn't realize this until after you rolled it out. Even the infrared, faucets, if you have too much melanin, it's not going to work. Facial recognition, not enough black people were being used. Like that,
Listen, I,
it
I thought
causes
I was
all these
going crazy.
complications.
One time I was at a movie theater and I kept putting my hand underneath this faucet. I was like, am I invisible? What is happening? It just would not work for my black. White man came up to it. Bam, here we go. I went to the next, would not work. I said, what the hell? Here we are.
Yeah, and it's just like that's why there's such a concern about all this money that they're pushing toward AI. AI has the biases of the people that are establishing the systems. If you have garbage in, you're going to have garbage out. If you don't
AI
have
is
a diverse
just as
enough code
racist
base, a
as
diverse enough work.
as AI is just as racist as the humans from which it gathers its intelligence. That's it. That's all.
I mean, you're not
If
lying.
it's gathering information from racist ass people, then the AI in turn will be racist. But yet here we are. We got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying, "Oh, don't worry about racism. You just need to teach the black kids to get over it. Don't get rid of the racism. Teach the black kids to look past it."
I'm not looking past shit.
Here we are. In other news that we must cover, we're supposed to. Oh yeah, we're supposed to do the Impoundment Act. Um, the man's going to use that for
You
toilet
want me to talk
paper.
about the Empowerment Act?
The fact that he's going to use it for toilet paper.
Well, they're already wiping their ass with the Constitution, so
Like, I can't expect there to be any teeth in the Impoundment Act if there are no teeth in the freaking Constitution. If on day one you deliberately write an executive order that is in willful violation of the 14th Amendment, what do you want from me?
well, I think that people need to understand exactly what it is. So, the Impoundment Act of 1974, it limits the executive branch's ability to withhold funds that have been appropriated by Congress. What Trump and his allies are arguing is that it infringes upon the presidential impoundment power, for which one does not exist. Um, and it's really that stance about the president having this inherent power. It is a distortion of the separation of powers that's in the Constitution. And it overlooks the mechanisms that are already within the Impoundment Control Act, because there's two different ways that if the executive doesn't agree with some spending, they can actually stop it. They can stop funds from flowing, right? So there's deferral, Under the deferral, the president can temporarily delay spending by notifying Congress, particularly when they are seeking savings through increased efficiencies. The second, and this is what I really want us to listen to, is if there's a recession, keyword recession. If those funds are deemed unnecessary, the president can propose cancellation. Okay. What then happens is Congress can approve the request for cancellation through expedited procedures, including a simple majority vote in the Senate. So they already have the ability to do this. The executive orders are illegal. And historically, presidents from both parties have used this to cut spending that they didn't want. Let's be clear. But I think Trump's opposition to the Impoundment Control Act stems from past challenges to it, um, because he had some very unsuccessful attempts during his first term to rescind funding for certain programs. And he did receive some legal repercussions because he tried to withhold funding that had already been appropriated for Ukraine.
Well, the thing about it is, this what do I, what's the word? This fictitious presidential empowerment power that he says he wields is just as fictitious as this Doge that he has.
You mean that made
So
up bullshit?
yeah, that clandestine entity that he has.
Yeah, we're gonna
And
get.
so what he's going to do is, just like he has this nefarious, organization, this terrorist group known as Doge around here running rampant, breaking laws, wiping their asses with the Constitution. The same thing will be done with this wielding of this fictitious presidential empowerment power that he does not have. And he's going to go to Congress and he's going to tell Senator Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, hey, bitch, fuck around and find out. I dare you bitches not to push this through. They'll
The
push it
same
through.
tune
It'll
that
be You'll have
got rid of
probably the
Trump
same
has.
three. You'll have Mitch McConnell will act like he's all of a sudden, because he's one misstep down the floor of Congress, away from going on to glory. And so he's going to see the light now and do the right thing now, even though you put all of these wheels in this train down the runway, sir. But anyway, you'll have Murkowski and Collins, and even if
They'll show
McConnell
concern.
joins
They'll show
them
concern, but
and
still
not
vote.
vote, the thing about it is, even if they have a 50 to 50 vote, what's going to happen? JD Vance is going to come and say, let's do this.
Also, I did want to add to this, the OMB nominee, Russell Vought, he
Who
agrees
wrote,
that the ICA is unconstitutional.
mind you, this is the one who wrote this section on budget and finance in the
Project
Project
2025,
2025.
the same Project 2025 that Trump had never heard of, yet several authors are going to be in his administration.
Here
How
we are.
convenient.
So there that listen, it's a whole shit show, and all the while, Chuck Schumer and senators over in the
You
Senate
talking about this
chamber.
Chuck Schumer? This one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you put them the fuck up, he could fight.
Like um I really need AOC to run against either Schumer or Gillibrand. Neither one of them are any fucking good.
Gillibrand is like, I'm gonna be honest, I've had beef with her since she ran Al Franken off. I've always thought that she was self-serving, and I've thought she was trash since then.
She's
Her
been trash.
confirmation votes have just revealed, like, I'm gonna be honest, I've always said this: the most dangerous person in the world is a white woman who has aspirations of power. Look at
I've
Nancy
said that
Pelosi.
for so long.
Look at Nancy Pelosi.
White women have been responsible for just about every major empire burning to the ground. Fucking white women. Black women are responsible for us having a species. It'll be fucking white women that will be responsible for the eradication of our species. I promise you that.
I just think that just my experience being in corporate, white women are dangerous. There's a reason I keep them at arm's length.
Fucking
Look at
trash.
Jonathan Majors. Mess with the damn white one.
Look at a whole lot of them. Tiger.
She whooped his ass, so I ain't gonna. OJ.
Mm-hmm. Y'all gonna get enough. But y'all always running over there to get them. Let me know how that works out. Let me see what else I missed. What did I miss? Did we talk about Doge
We have not talked about Doge.
or USA USAID?
We have not talked about USA or Doge. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Can we get Doge out the way? It gives me gas.
I'm so tired of talking about this thick neck ass fat billionaire. Anyway, okay, so the big thing about Doge, or the Department of Government Efficiency, it has been essentially at this point a beacon of controversy and concern. Um, they've taken some very aggressive actions at overhauling government agencies and systems. One, these people have no fucking experience. Like, one just graduated from high school last year. What the hell do you know about lean? What do you know about that? What do you know about, organizational change and transformation? Nothing. But there have been several reports indicating that the team members have refused to disclose their identities. They've also been inquiring about which employees should be fired, which has created an atmosphere of intimidation and uncertainty amongst career civil servants. These are the people that know the ins and the outs of how the agency actually runs. These are the people that we need. Losing these people would cause all sorts of a losses of institutional knowledge, which is probably the fucking goal. The bigger issues is the access to sensitive information they have. They have had unprecedented access to sensitive government data. The Treasury Secretary, which some Dems voted through, granted Doge full access to the U.S. Treasury federal payment system. It processes over $5 trillion worth of payments annually, including Social Security, Medicare benefits, federal employee salaries, and tax refunds. This access has raised several alarms about potential misuse of personal and financial information of American citizens. Note, these people have not been vetted, i.e., none of them have a fucking security clearance. None of them have properly been vetted. None of them. Um,
And we can blame that even on the Merrick Garland fucked up ass DOJ, because they were responsible for a lot of clear vetting processes, going through background checks, and they were derelict of duties on these background checks. And so what Trump did was to compound the fact that DOJ was not doing their job and really doing background checks. He now has this clandestine entity where they don't have to, where the people in it have no confirmation process, no appropriations there, no oversight of this clandestine committee. I mean, I'll call this ad hoc agency, yet they have full free access to every part of the government without any oversight from the from Article 1. And I'll call them who they are. Article 1 has no oversight over this clandestine organization in Article 2.
Candace, I really want to tap your insights as to what is the temperature amongst federal employees right now, because I can only imagine that it's fucking demoralizing. And
And
the
that's
people
what
that
they
are trying
want.
to do the right thing, they're getting like when they denied them access to the systems, they got walked out.
And you had the highest ranking uh, 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 member of the Treasury, the highest ranking career
Resign.
employee for the Treasury, who said, "No, sir, we're not giving you access." And they went through all of that, and he's resigned. He's left,
And I
and so
think
now none of the guardrails are up.
we never had them to begin with. But I would say like the biggest issue is security. I've been a federal contractor before, so there are so many regulations around privacy, around access to systems, around having the proper security clearance. Um, the way that they grant access in the federal government is way different than anything I've ever seen. If you don't have the need to know, even if you have the clearance, you can't access that object. You can't access it. You can't. You also can't like I mean things that are outside of your purview, you shouldn't be able to write to them either. But you have essentially with Doge, they've put an email server up at the Office of Personnel Management. That's how they're able to shotgun blast all these memorandums about the buyouts, et cetera, so on and so forth. But there's actually a lawsuit that's going on right now from Jane Doe 1 and 2 that claims that Elon Musk's Doge team set up an unencrypted email system without proper authorization at OPM. Now, let me just say this there's a law, the E Government Act of 2002. What this does is every single new IT system has to undergo a privacy impact assessment. We have
Well,
to see what are the risks to this new IT system before it can touch anything.
from my sources in DC, they're saying the information that these people have access to, just nilly willy, unsecured, is things that you could only get in a skiff. They're having unfettered access to stuff that you should only have access to when you enter a skiff.
And also, let's be clear here. Prior to this email server, there was no way that you could email all of the federal employees. So it was a way around those communication restrictions, right? And I think they're also trying to, because again, now that they have access to the payment systems, right, they can target particular employees by not paying them. Also, it's a sense of corporatism, right? Because Elon Musk, Tesla's going to shit. Let's just be very clear. SpaceX is only doing great because of the federal contracts it gets. So, what is the point of Elon Musk having access to the payment system? He's going to cut his competitors off at the knees. He's not going to pay those federal contracts out, or he's going to cancel them outright in the name of efficiency because he's really only in there to enrich himself, as Trump is.
Well, you got to understand that this is the same Elon Musk that is that has billions of dollars worth of contracts with the same federal government that they've given him, all access control over, and the Treasury Department. So you have control of the coffers, the payment systems, and at the same time that you have billions of dollars in government contracts.
Mind you, another avenue that I just thought of this. Thank you, banking fucking background that I have. Anyone that receives a payment from the federal government, to include federal employees, retirees, veterans that are in receipt of disability compensation, yeah, they have your banking information. They have your banking information as well, and none of these people are vetted.
None.
None of these people are vetted.
And I apologize. I just used the term skiff as if everybody knows what a skiff is. A skiff is it's a place. I forgot what that. I think
Sensitive,
it's sensitive
compartmented information
information
facility.
facility. That's
I
what it
used to
is.
work in one.
And
Couldn't have
that
my phone. None of that.
yeah, you can't have no phone, no nothing. And when you go in the skiff, you can't. It's like you know how when doctors go into the emergency room, they got to take everything off. They got to be sanitized. It's a sanitized area where you cannot have anything on you that could transmit anything. So when you go in there, you only get access to the stuff while you're in there, and when you come out of there, you don't have any. So it's a sanitized place where you go for confidential bits of information or information that are on the security access where you have to have security clearances way up high.
No Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, no cellular. Can't have
Hmm.
a camera. Can't have video. Can't have audio recording. No wearable
They
devices.
won't right. They won't let you take your smart watches, and nowadays they'll make you take off your glasses, or they'll have to inspect your glasses because you have smart glasses now. Like I have a few pairs of smart glasses. So
I don't know about that particular avenue, Tracy, but I do know that the new head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, he has told them to essentially stop all work. So the CFPB, I know I've used them before. When you're having issues with a financial institution, a credit bureau, you used to call the CFPB up, shit would get handled
mhm.
quickly because they didn't want those fines and they didn't want those investigations. But now with that, I just feel like the average American has a lot less leverage with some of these large corporations. It's unfortunate. It was also in Project 2025, though.
Well, then there's that. So that's Doge. I don't
Yes,
know.
our embassies do have skiffs
Hmm.
because we do transmit top secret cables, as well as we are doing a little spying wherever our embassies are as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. There's intelligence that happens through the embassies as well, and some of those agents have to go into a skip to give information.
Most boring job I ever had was being in a skiff. It's pretty terrible.
Um, U.S. aid. Them doing away or trying to do away with the U.S. aid and as well as the Department of Education, but we'll get there tomorrow. But this is first of all is very illegal. Just like the Empowerment Act was an act of Congress, which makes it law, in order to have a department of government that the executive branch does not get a department of anything without Article 1 giving them that department. It has to be an act of Congress. And when I say Article 1 in our Constitution is the legislative branch. Article 2 is the executive branch, and Article 3 is the judicial.
Judiciary.
So if Article 1 does not designate something a department by law, it's not a department, which is why we keep saying that Doge is clandestine. However, the U.S. Agency for International Development is an actual agency that was voted on by Congress back in the early 60s under the John F. Kennedy administration. And contrary to popular belief, its only job is it essentially just to go give aid to foreign countries. That's not the only thing that that entity does. What's dangerous is this whole merger of the State Department and the U.S. Agency for International Development. That's dangerous because the State Department is very political and politicized, extremely political and politicized. Probably, if I'm being honest, and you could help me out with this, Cams. I shudder to think in a traditional White House, a more politicized department than the State Department, because everything the State Department does is really based on the whims of that president, regardless if they're Democrat or Republican.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of another department that would be more politicized than the State Department.
no, I think the State Department is the most politicized though, because when we talk about the the global hegemony of the U.S., right, which is rapidly shrinking, whether or not people want to realize that or not, yeah, we're going to have a new global power if this administration keeps us on the wrong path. But essentially, what the State Department does is it uses soft power to further U.S. interest abroad. That's what the State Department does. They
Well,
try to frame it as getting win-win deals with foreign nations, but it's really how do we manage to manipulate situations to be in our favor?
and so that's why when you're talking about USAID, which is not supposed to be political, um and you're talking about, even if you thought that it was just giving aid to foreign countries that may need it, that in itself should not be political, because if we are saying, okay, we are a country that is quite wealthy and we can assist other humans and see the humanity in people and saying there are people dying over here, let's go ahead and lend a hand and give them some aid. That should not be subject to the whims of someone who may be a demagogue.
And
But here we
also,
are.
U.S. aid in terms of the absolute dollar, we provide more than anyone else in the world. And U.S. aid, their primary mission is disaster relief, poverty relief, socioeconomic development, as well as technical cooperation on global issues to include the environment.
And health issues. When we
Yeah.
have pandemics, endemics, and diseases and viruses that are going on around the world, US aid is right there and instrumental in thwarting the proliferation of said viruses and or pandemics, endemics, or illnesses, and works alongside the World Health Organizations and other organizations with eradicating certain diseases and viruses around the world. Please be clear, our borders are not, we don't have real walls that keep viruses out. If a virus that we thought was eradicated s- comes back, it can absolutely bring itself and come back over here.
I mean, Ebola's back. There's another Ebola outbreak.
We see polio's making a comeback.
The bubonic plague. There's been some outbreaks of that. But the issue that the lens I want to look at this through is the global humanitarian concern I have with this, right? Like, let's talk about, like, we were just talking about Gaza earlier. How does U.S. aid, impact Gaza? It provides health care for people in refugee camps. as well as food distribution to those that are in conflict zones. Like some of the most vulnerable people in the world receive benefits from US aid. And
Hell,
it's
look at
supposed to not be political, but with them dismissing pretty much all of the leadership, Marco Rubio is the acting executive of US aid right now.
but look at what's going on in the DRC, the Democratic Republic in the Republic of Congo, and that's not getting anywhere near the amount of bandwidth that it should.
Because what can
But
we do?
U.S. aid is helping to feed millions of starving people there.
I mean, like you said before, the AIDS, HIV care, child health services, that like US aid has been instrumental in reducing infant mortality globally. Globally. It has a good mission. I still do know a couple of people that are there. I don't know how much longer they're going to be there, but they believe in the mission. These are people that just want to help countries that aren't as fortunate. Maybe their governments are a lot more corrupt than ours, but it does do a great good for the world. And I mean, and the budget is only around 50 billion. It's not a huge budget, but it does a lot of good. So I think that I'm gonna be honest. With them doing this, this undermines U.S. foreign policy and it damages our credibility. We're going to find ourselves very isolated pretty soon. We've already pissed off Canada and Mexico, even though we put a pause on those tariffs. We've threatened the EU with tariffs. Who are we going to have to come help us out if we get into some shit? That's my question. Because the isolation is foreign policy, yeah, it doesn't make sense in the modern global economy. It doesn't.
Please also be clear that some of the people or countries, I should say, that receive aid from U.S. aid or receive anything from U.S. aid are also allies and countries that we need in certain volatile areas within the world. But here we are. Here we are. So the dismantling of USA, first of all, the dismantling of any government agency is illegal. I totally expect, and there are already lawsuits, I should say, that are on the dockets at in the circuits where I totally expect for there to be there. Article 3 has to have some pushback on this because this is a direct willful violation of the Constitution, which says that Article 2 does not have the right to, we talked about it earlier, the Empowerment Act. You do not have the right to just say, oh, I don't give a damn about what agencies y'all want. No, that's not how that works. That's why they're co-equal branches. That's why they're checks and balances. You don't like the Department of
Alleged checks
Education,
and
so you just
balances.
say, well, hell to hell with it.
Alleged checks and balances.
Well, when you
I mean, in theory, we have them, but if they
when you
don't,
abdicate your roles and your responsibilities, then these things happen.
oh, you talking about them punk ass Democrats?
Mm.
Should we say?
And Republicans for that matter.
Well, they kissed the ring a long time ago.
But in that kissing of the ring, they've abdicated their own power.
You know what the checks and balances are doing right now, Xavier? It's showing their insufficient funds in the account. That's what the checks and balances are doing now. We're in the red. Bad.
The scales are very unbalanced.
We had a good weekend, and those charges just came through today, and ain't no more.
Okay, it's stuff like homecoming. You know, with the homecoming, you wake up, you get home Monday night, you look at your bank account like, oh, ooh. Now you getting all these NSF charges. Like, oh, I had a good
Had too
weekend.
much of a good time.
Right. Be like, well, I had a good weekend. I think we all can relate. If you've never been to homecoming and ain't had this story where you look at your bank account and be like, oh, cha, yeah. I think that's everything. Did we cover what did we miss?
We ain't talked about them fighting back.
We kind of did, but
You know, they ain't doing
how
shit.
what exactly? I mean, uh, 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 I'm just
I
saying.
don't think that the new DNC chair is gonna be hitting on shit anyway. So
First of all, leadership in the Democratic Party made it a point to continue to say, "Oh, well, we didn't lose that bad, so there's no need to change course." That's been their talking point. So they kept all establishment Dems and all leadership positions. They kept establishment Dems as all ranking members of committees in both chambers. And we also see right now that they're still trying to play nice with people who don't play nicely. And in the Senate, people are getting confirmed with Democratic support. Here we are. uh, uh, they've removed some of the help that AOC did. We did have the squad, but now the squad, all we have left is we got Summer Lee, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, we got Rashida, we got Ilhan, and that's about it.
the squad essentially.
That's about it.
Oh, and you have former Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger. Like he doing more than
Well, then
the
there's
Democratic
that.
leadership is doing.
You ain't lied about that.
But you know, even with this new chair of the DNC, I think that it is a continuation of the party's existing strategy. So
Did you
Ken
tell the
Martin,
people what you know about him?
yeah, I'll tell you what I know about it. So Ken Martin is the new head of the DNC. Prior to that, he was the chairman of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor um, Union. I mean, under his leadership, I will say there were significant electoral successes in Minnesota. Um, Basically, every statewide election was won under his tenure, and there were two political trifectas from his time since 2011. Um, I don't. I just. I thought that there were better choices, but he was elected on the first ballot, and he defeated the Wisconsin Democratic Party chair Ben Wickler, who I wanted to win personally, but Martin says that he wants the party to be unified and he advocates for working class Americans. He's known for his grassroots organization and, you know, kind of building up democratic infrastructure at the state and the national level. But I will say Jim Clyburn supported him early on, and I knew that I wasn't going to like the pick because Jim Clyburn is.
Ain't shit.
Yes, and I think Jim Clyburn also represents the establishment arm of the Democrats, the Nancy Pelosi's, the people that need to kind of step away, um, who needs to kind of get out of there. I think we missed the opportunity for a transformational leader at a time where we need to show Democratic voters that we're doing things differently. Um, his approach on fundraising, eh, he doesn't like Hollywood elites and billionaires. Um, but under this new Supreme Court where money is speech, I don't know.
All I have
Um,
to say is he has the full support of Pelosi, Schumer, Clyburn, Durbin, and all of them. Okay, that's all I needed to hear.
and I will also say, like, the last election in Minnesota was not great for the DFL.
Now, let me tell you why I feel like the Dems are playing in my face, because what they tried to do was they tried to say, well, let's give a nod to the left and some of the progressives. That's the only reason Malcolm got in there and David Hogg. The only reason Malcolm Kenyatta got in there and David Hogg got in there, they're going to try to use David Hogg to try to garner some more good grace with the young Gen Zers. I don't know how much it's going to work because you don't already fuck them over. And then they know that Malcolm Kenyatta is a progressive, and that's there not to try to win over some progressives. But the progressives, the left, we see you for who you are. And you're going to do the same to Malcolm Kenyatta and David Hogg that you're doing to AOC and Jasmine Crockett. You're not gonna allow them to do what they need to do. They're gonna try to be the voice of reason. And while they're being the voice that speaks up and speaks truth to power, you people are gonna have your own nefarious plans that keep us stymied on the left.
I would say that what needs to happen is what has happened historically. The progressives are going to have to splinter off. They're going to have to. We're going to have to start diverting money toward this progressive third party, and then, as what has happened historically, that new party subsumes the old party. Because right now the Dems are Republican light
Yep.
because the
Yep.
Overton window has moved so far to the right.
Mm-hmm.
They're just Republican light.
Yep.
That's all it is. And
I say
Samir,
it
too,
all the
he
time.
is very establishment because he's worked very closely with Jamie Harrison and Tom Perez, who were former chairs of the DNC. He's very establishment. I mean, David Hogg is a token, and we all know tokens get spent and then they get tossed.
I'm gonna give you another example of a young Gen Z progressive that when he first ran it or was on the campaign trail, I thought I was gonna see amazing things. And he got there, and the Democratic Party has really stifled him, and that's Maxwell Frost. Maxwell Frost was the Gen Zer in Congress.
That's the
He's
one with the
out of
fro.
Orlando. He's still there now, out of Orlando. He
Oh
took
yeah.
Val Deming's spot. And on the campaign trail, when he was running, I was like, oh my God, he's going to be so great. He gets to Congress, and what happens? The regime down to the establishment basically told what, from what I understand, and I know this in good from people. I'm not going to say specific job titles or names, but these are people very close to the situation. He was told, sit your ass down and shut the fuck up, or we'll put Val Demings back. Because Val Demings went and ran for they were either gonna they told him we would either put Val Demings back in there or we would run her husband for that position. And if you know politics in the Orlando area, Val Demings' husband was the mayor, or is he still the mayor of Orange County, the county where Val Demings, where Orlando is located. He was also chief he was the sheriff for Orange County as well. It's all tied together. And they ceremoniously told Maxwell Frost, get your ass in line and shut the fuck up, or we already got somebody in place.
So Val Demings is 67 and her husband is 65. So
They
this
don't
is
give a
it
damn.
just
That's
won't.
right. That's right up the damn's alley.
But I'm saying that this is the problem. They lost the youth vote. In this most recent election, they lost the youth vote. You're not speaking to issues that impact the youth. And I will say, like I've been saying earlier, the Dems have a fucking messaging problem. I don't care about the GDP per capita. I care about the GDP when we're looking at personal purchasing power. What is that? Like, who has surpassed us in that metric? China. China has pulled over 1 billion people out of poverty. What has the US done? Created more billionaires. Had the largest transfer of wealth with the last Trump tax cuts, the largest transfer of wealth in history. If you are, the government has an obligation to take care of its citizens because the citizens fund the government. If you are doing nothing for me, what is your purpose? If you can't come up with a party platform where somebody can see something tangible for them, you're going to continue to lose these elections because, to be honest, the Democrats need more than we're not Republicans. They need more than we're not Republicans. What did Janet Jackson say? What have you done for me lately?
That's what she said. Ooh, yeah.
They have a messaging problem. And if these geriatrics would get the fuck out of the way and let the Gen X's, the millennials, the Gen Z's come in, start getting these Gen Alpha people that are savvy to do messaging, going on these sorts of new media. I mean, Obama did it.
I agree with you, Ronald. They do need to be ruthless, but they don't have that in them. They don't have the intestinal and testicular fortitude to be ruthless. They want to play nice with people who don't play nicely. They're all about decorum. They're all about tradition. They're all about these gentlemen agreements. And that shit went out the window with Newt Gingrich. I'm not gonna say that went out the window recently. All of that shit really went out the window with Newt Gingrich.
And his contract for America. Is that what it was? Contract for America? Was that the thing?
So it
Child
is
predator,
what it
Newt
is.
Gingrich, by the way. You gotta throw that out there. Child predator.
Um, but yeah, I think we covered everything today. Look at us.
We did.
I'm so proud of us. High five. High five.
That way.
Did y'all enjoy tonight? If y'all enjoyed tonight, go ahead and put
No,
a
Tracy,
hashtag.
don't even get me started on Hakeem Jeffries. I don't trust him. He ain't nobody.
Go ahead and put a hashtag RBB in the chat. Hashtag RBB in the chat. If you enjoyed us tonight, we'll be back next week.
We need more Kendrick Lamar and less Drake, and that's what we got.
Right.
Hakeem Jeffries
Yeah, you're right. Hakeem Jeffries does give you Drake.
gives
He
us
don't give
Drake.
you nobody's Kendrick. And that's my frat brother. I love him to death, but listen, I just don't see you being the leader that you need to be because you still letting Nancy Pelosi and the establishment Dems run the party.
I'm just like, motherfucker, are you in charge or not? Are you the HNIC or not?
And then when you get up there, I don't feel the energy. I don't feel like the one thing you can't take away from 47. When the camera comes on, he understands the assignment. These people, when the cameras come on, I don't feel any passion. I don't feel like you out there fighting. I feel like you just like, okay, I'm just happy to be here. I got me a lapel pin.
Now, our boy Luigi might be getting off. I was reading to the case. He might be getting off.
I hope they have a jury case. And if they have a jury case, bro, might be. Bro might get out of there.
I will say this though, people want to frou-frou on violence, but let's be clear. The reason why the establishment frowns on it is because it works.
It really does.
I mean, the Bolshevik Revolution, the French Revolution.
I'm very disappointed in the two female senators and the fact that they've been voting to confirm these people. Angela also Brooks has voted no for some, but I think, and I'm sure Cam will check me on this. I think Lisa Blunt Rochester has voted to confirm more than Angela also Brooks has. I
Uh,
could be wrong.
oh, I was looking at this earlier. I will put this in the chat so everyone can see it. This is how every single senator has voted on the nomination picks thus far.
I don't even have this. He ain't even send that to me, y'all. See how you do me.
But Angela also Brooks is
Oh, it's on Ballotpedia. Oh, that's easy. You
it's
know,
on that video. It's she's at like 40 something percent.
you know.
Tammy Duckworth has like she's been on it. Senator Hirono from Hawaii. Yeah, it's been a bunch of no's.
We loves Ballotpedia around these parts. It's a source of truth.
John Ossoff, I'm actually fairly proud of him.
He's had a couple times where instead of voting no, he has just not been there.
He's been not present. Yeah.
Yeah, not present. But Lisa Blunt Rochester, I've been I've been watching her. Um
I mean, I'm disappointed in Ruben Gallego. I'm disappointed
oh,
in
he's the worst.
Hassan, and I'm disappointed in Shaheen. They
Actually,
are
looking at
almost
this
at
list,
50% for the
looking at this list, Lisa Blunt Rochester has a better voting record than Angela Also Brooks, which is very surprising.
also Brooks and my senator are tied for the votes. Whom I can't email because her email inbox is full. Whom I can't call because the voicemails are full. But she gonna
So,
be cussed out. If it takes 2 weeks, she gonna get cussed out.
but yeah,
You also need to look at who just recently won their election. They got a long time. And I think they're gonna vote a little bit more in line with the administration versus those who might be up for reelection.
Kirsten
But
Gillibrand, y'all.
but even with that logic, it doesn't it I don't understand why Peters is voting with Senator Peters from Michigan. He's not even rerunning. I don't know why
Tim
he's
Kaine, Tim Kaine has been voting for these people, and he just got reelected.
yeah,
Just got
Hickenlooper,
reelected.
Kane, Kelly, and King are all just sad.
Ridiculous.
Look, Gillibrand needs to get primaried. Who is going to primary her? Who do we need to get
I,
some?
I I say have AOC run against that whore.
There is no plan. Capitulation, I guess, is the plan because they just rolling over, taking it.
I say you have AOC run and primary that whore.
I love AOC.
Because you can't believe that Gillibrand is that popular in New York. I just can't believe that. Who's from which one of y'all in my New York delegation? I refuse to believe that Kirsten Gillibrand is just that popular in goddamn New York. I refuse to believe that she's that popular. Tracy, that's your people.
And who the hell voted for Bondi?
Don't get me started on.
What
I
was the
could do a
damn?
whole show
What
on
damn
Bondi.
crossed over and voted for her?
I could do a whole show on Pam Bondi. I could do a whole show. I ain't even got it to do today. But I feel like AOC can absolutely primary Kirsten Gillibrand. Now, my question is what I've been hearing And if you in the New York beat, let me go. Let me know.
Ronald, he has the same record as Cory Booker, who's fucking a disappointment.
Yeah, Miss Cora, Miss Corisha,
See,
to be specific.
we were dragging him on TikTok because he was
I've
talking
been
about
dragging
he
him.
used TikTok so much to get reelected, and then you voted for that ban, and we was dragging his ass.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I got to go back and check with my people out of the Empire State, out of New York. I was, from what I was understanding, when they got Letitia James to bow out of that governor's race, I thought they said that they had promised her a Senate seat. Maybe they promised her Chuck's seat. When is Chuck's seat up?
Chuck gonna die in the damn seat.
Well, he damn near dead now.
He's 74.
He looked 94.
I look. I'm just telling you what he looked like.
I'm just saying.
I don't know why he's the Senate leader. I don't know, but the number two, she's no better.
You talk about Patty Murray
Patty
out of
Murray,
Washington.
Murray out of Washington.
Out of Washington. Hmm.
I don't. Even when I lived in Washington,
Say my name,
I wasn't a fan of
Patty.
for her.
Well, technically they say, even though she's on paper the number two, they say Dick Durbin is really the second in command down to the Senate Democratic caucus. But Dick Durbin don't do shit either.
I mean, Dick Durbin was he not the? Is he not the whip?
He is the whip, I believe. But um I thought they had said that they were going to give Letitia James a Senate seat. I have to go check with my people on that.
I like her, but she's a bit old too. She like 67.
She looked good for
I
67.
mean, she looked the fuck good. However, she's still
Wait, she's really 67?
yes. She's
Shit.
in her 60s.
That woman look good. Whoa.
Oh, she's 66. My bad. I gave her extra. She's 60.
Jesus. Letitia look good for 66, honey.
Yeah, she's 60.
Mama look good.
Jasmine Crockett is older than I thought she was.
Jasmine is in her 40s, I thought.
She's 43, and I was like, she don't look it nowhere.
Like me and Jasmine are like around the same age.
I love my Jasmine Crockett. And I love my L. I love the squad. Period.
I love Summer Lee. Summer Lee doesn't get enough credit. Summer Lee be out here screaming truth to power too. She about that life too. I be living for Summer Lee because she be going in on these hoes. Bitch, what?
Summer Lee out of Pennsylvania.
She's out of Pennsylvania. Remember, they tried to primary her because she was too much of a progressive, and she ended up winning. They tried to do her like they did Nina Turner.
Nina Turner got the fuck out of there. But I will say Nina Turner's tweets, they used those against her a lot in that lead up. Because I got some friends out there, and they was just saying it wasn't looking good for Miss Nina. They weren't seeing it for Nina no more.
Nina don't be giving a damn. Nina be said, listen, I'm gonna say what I want to say. Get over it. So
Tracy said you was 43 14 years ago.
Child, I'm not listening to Tracy, okay? Lord. Anyway, but I feel like if Chuck is up next, when is Chuck up? Chuck is up in
Ronald, you're talking about Ayanna Presley.
I love Ayanna too. Now that's my girl.
I love her when she stopped wearing them damn wigs and she was just rocking the ball.
And she just rocking it. And she be listen, Ayanna Presley, when they give her the mic to speak, baby, she finna come with it. She's another member of the squad. Shout out to her.
2002 was his last election. 22, yeah.
So he's not out until 28. God help
28, yeah.
And didn't Gillibrand just get back?
I believe so. I thought she was up for election.
I think she just got elected in 26. I mean 20 4.
Yeah, because it was 24. I don't. I
Mm.
mean, she didn't. Was she? This was the yeah. New York apparently. Republicans garnered over 40% of the vote for the second time in the Senate election, and the governor election in New York was way more competitive than I thought it would be. That lady not popular.
Well, they should have let Letitia run. They told Letitia to stand down, and here we are.
Kathy need to go on somewhere.
Child. Well, listen, y'all. We gonna get out of here, and we gonna be back next year. No, I said next year.
Yeah, we'll be back next year. That works for me.
We'll be back next week. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 for Run Your Mouth.
I might be in the chat. It depends on if I am out of.
I'm gonna see if I can get him to come up here, y'all. See if we can get him to come and make a guest appearance on Run Your Mouth.
I don't mind doing it every once in a blue moon, but it depends on my work schedule.
We have fun on Run Your Mouth. Ronald, you need to come up here and do a Run Your Mouth. I need some guest hosts on Run Your Mouth.
Well, we just had somebody in the chat asking, was it
I don't
open
know who that
open
was.
panel? I'm trying to go back and see what that was
I
because I
don't
would
know who
love
that
for
was.
them to come up on a run your mouth.
Really, really, really.
Brit 210.
I don't even know who that is.
All right. Vocal, active, and present. Yeah, where is Ty at? You know the people love Ty like they love Harold.
Ty is somewhere doing a drag show right now. So, anyway, y'all, we have had fun. We about to get out of here. I am tired. I'm finna go lay down. I had
You finna
Run Your
call
Mouth,
Trey.
then I
Go ahead.
had a
You finna
meeting for
call
2 hours, and then I had this show, and I am tired.
You're gonna call some random man to put his
I
meat
am no,
on the
he's not
side of your
random.
neck.
He's not random.
Whatever.
Maybe I should be nice and call the banker, the bank vice president, or as we call him, 4 for 4.
Fofo.
Should I be nice and call him?
I'm
No, I'm
happily
not.
committed. No comment.
I'm not calling him for nothing. I need my body rocked. So what do you want from me? Child.
Well, yeah, we do need to see Ty again, though. It's been a while since we've been seeing him.
I'll call him, but Ty be so busy. Like Ty is always busy.
Not don't be tired and get a little meat. I'm fucking.
Right. I'm with you, Universal Goddess. Baby, I'm tired. I don't know. I need to be throttled. I'm just saying.
Well, all right.
I have a mountain to climb. Climb every mountain. Listen, y'all, we about to get out of here. Thank y'all so much for supporting us. Thank you for being here. If you want to reach us, the description box has all of our information. So feel free to see to get go to the description box to get all of our information. If you want to contribute to
I
us,
need
you
to
can
have
do
my
that as
blue sky.
well.
I got to give you my blue sky so you can add
Yeah,
it
you
up.
do.
Yeah, so you can add it.
Um,
Wait, do I
I've
follow
been
you?
doing better. I have been posting on Blue Sky lately. I've been posting Run Your Mouths on Blue Sky. I should have posted this on Blue Sky, but I forgot. So I'm getting better. And now I'm going to start trolling people on Blue Sky that I think are MAGA. And no, I'm going to start trolling Jink and Anna
I
From
do. I already follow you. I follow you on Blue Sky. Yeah.
I'm gonna troll Jink and Anna on TYT.
Actually, I don't run into any of those people because that block list feature that it's so nice and it just updates. It's just nice being over on Blue Sky. It's a less toxic vibe than Twitter.
It is. Anyway, we'll be back. Like I always say, whether the country is red or blue, we will always be black and here for you. So until next time, that's all we got for y'all. Say bye to the people.
Bye.